All right, so we started our sequence for Toreando pass. I can never say that word correctly, so we're just going to go with it. I've been doing this for a long time, and I can still never pronounce it correctly, but that's fine. We'll get through it. So this is just the basic one we're going to do. We spoke about Leandro Lo, obviously being the best passer in the world, especially when it comes to both the knee slice and this pass. What you recognize when you watch someone like Leandro is that he never really goes to a side control position from here. Like, he's always fighting from here and going to a north-south position. So if he's was, obviously, rest in peace, he was the best in the world at doing this. So, it'd be remiss of us not to pick up on some of those elements of what he did and apply it to our passing. So that's a little bit of talking for no reason, but we'll get ourselves established here. As with any kind of entry to this pass, we want to establish our inside grips. Now, in a no-gi situation, you're obviously coming to C grips, controlling the legs. However, for us, we can either go outside or in. I preference inside grips. So I come inside, grab ourselves inside, and we're going to start to press his knees to his chest here. So what happens is, you'll see here that as I've done that, I've now started to clear his hips. So I can start to move him around as need be on the mats. If I was just to go to here and try to get that same kind of passing action, see, I can't make him move independently. So we're going to get ourselves pressed in. Now, key to these things is making sure that I've got a slight bend in my arms and that my forearms are kind of blocking off. So if he tries to start trying to pummel his feet back inside, I can control where those pummels comes from those legs. So I start to lift him up in this position, put my pressure on. You'll see I kind of stay on my toes the whole way. And we use a combination of moves here. So I'm going to push-pull to start with, to start to get him moving, and then I will start to switch myself around to north-south. So you can kind of jerk around here for a little bit, decide which way you're going to go. And when you eventually decide, you're going to push-pull and start to switch. You'll see I start to come around. Now, in a competition perspective, I'll get to that position there. Literally just drop my weight as fast and as hard as possible on top, putting chest-to-chest pressure. But for us going through, we'll do it as a nice little slow drill here. So pressure, start switching hips, come around north-south. I'm going to drop. You'll see that I don't really come around to a complete north-south in this position, because what I want to do is to be able to sprawl my hip on the side of his head to kind of control his neck and control his spine to stop him from being able to roll into me. So we press, start to move him, switch, and I come around to full north-south position. Just hold it there for me, and I'll just keep talking into it. And then from here, I'll start to drop my weight, drop my knees to the ground, still holding my grips the whole time I do this, until I come down into a chest-on-chest position. And then, as I said, my hip that's closest to his head here is going to sprawl out. Keep my legs and my hips out, block his north-south position from here. Because where I find a problem for me particularly is that if I do come to a north-south from here, he can start to frame up onto my hips, start bucking and carrying on, creating space for himself by pushing on my hips and creating distance. Once I get to this position, sprawl on my hip, control his posture from his head, and then lock his hips in here. Now when he tries to do exactly the same thing, I've got complete control of his spine, complete control of his head. So it enables me to establish and kind of finalize that position quite easily. Let's just have one more look at that. Thick gi on tonight, so that's just going to keep popping off, I'm sure, but excuse me. All right, so we're going to start from our open guard position, come in, establish my grips, start to press forward, locking my elbows down so I can start to block his legs if he tries to pummel inside. I'm going to start to switch him out as I start to transition, drop my weight down, hold his pants, come into north-south position here, chest on chest, sprawl my hip down against his head, locking myself back into my position here. So I have my elbows tucked in nice and tight. I like to have the palms of my hands based on his hips here. just to be able to follow him around and control if I need to be. Probably a key point also for this is I'm kind of sprawling, but I'm always staying on my toes. So if I do need to transition from here, I can easily just pop up on my toes and start to work my way around, depending on where I need to be. Of course,